The Indianapolis Colts have kicked off their training camp after going 4-12-1 last season. But hey, it's the NFL. It's a new year. They've got a new head coach. They got a new franchise quarterback. And they're going to get Jonathan Taylor back in the backfield. So let's bring in Jake Arthur of the Locked On Colts podcast to get us caught up with all things hashtag Fear the Shoe. Jake, thanks for joining us, man. And thank you for live tweeting during Colts practice, man. I was watching the live tweets. I feel like I was there. So let's talk about this team, man. They've got a couple of days of camp underneath their belt. What's your early thoughts, not only on this team, but who's standing out so far?
Yeah, it's pretty encouraging that the offense seems to be doing a little better, because in the spring things were really clunky. But there were a lot of guys who were out with injuries, but it's pretty much all hands on deck right now. Gardner Minshew has looked pretty decent. Richardson has had nice moments, of course. Just today, he had the first huge play of camp. Just rolling to the left, flick of his wrist, about a 55-yard touchdown to Alec Pierce. So he's already generating some excitement. And that's the thing. The Colts right now, it's kind of a change in tone. The last few years, we're used to getting these older quarterbacks in camp, and it's, all right, this is the guy that's going to get them back to the playoffs. He's the missing piece. Now it's all about just kind of enjoying these young guys and just watching them develop. And expectations are a lot lower. You just want to see these guys grow. And Shane Steichen is already kind of implementing some things that seem like they might work. It's pretty interesting not having Jonathan Taylor out there right now as he's on PUP and he's got his whole contract thing. But it still looks like, regardless, this offense seems smart and strategic. It still might work. So it's been kind of fun to keep an eye on.
It's one of the things. So you're saying there's a chance. And let's talk about some of this young talent, man. You sound like they've brought a new energy to this team. So can people say that this is a rebuild season, or do you think they have enough talent to make a postseason run? I know it's still early, but I had to ask.
Yeah, it seems unlikely for them to make a postseason run. What I'm looking for is for them to eliminate those games that they had really the last year and a half where they're just like a complete no-show. Just didn't even get off the bus, just completely outmanned, outclassed, outcoached. I'm hoping they avoid those type of games and just be competitive throughout the schedule and just avoid those huge letdowns. They're going to have some moments where their young guys, have opportunities to learn, I guess you could say. There was one today where Anthony Richardson on an option play gave the ball to the running back, and then right when he was done, he noticed he had a ton of room to run, and if he would have kept it. And after practice, Shane Steichen was just like, we're going to have moments like that. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some opportunities missed, some chances for them to learn from little mistakes. So it'll be clunky at times. It'll be maybe even frustrating if they're stringing some losses together. But just in general, I'm hoping just to see them stay competitive, not get blown out constantly, and just see kind of a bright light for the future, I guess you could say. Next year, this team could probably make some noise. The things that kind of make you say things like that. You just want to avoid the letdowns.
Well, you're kind of sitting in the same position Giants fans were sitting in last year, where you don't want to have too much expectation, and you saw what the Giants were able to do last season. Obviously, man, I can't let you go without talking about Jonathan Taylor and the contract situation. Owner Jim Irsay said some things. He's true, but it was kind of deaf tone. It was like, read the room right now.
Yes.
He's not even in camp yet. From what you're hearing, the vibe you feel being around camp, do you think that some deal is going to get done at some point this season? Or do you think that this is going to linger and become some sort of distraction?
It feels like it might be something that lingers because, of course, he's got another year under contract. And ESPN Stephen Holder broke just last night that the Colts haven't made an offer to Jonathan Taylor yet. So it seems like there'd be a pretty big gap in between negotiations on either side. And of course, you've got, Irsay, which you nailed it perfectly, kind of read the room. But also Jonathan Taylor's agent is kind of being pretty outspoken about the situation on Twitter as well. Taylor himself, when you watch him, seems pretty uncharacteristic. He's always an upbeat guy. He's the one, when you talk to him in media stuff, he kind of sounds like a quarterback. He gives you kind of coach speak. He's been kind of outspoken when talked to this offseason as well. Obviously not happy with the contract. And if you're reading body language, it's really not good right now. He doesn't look super thrilled to be there. I imagine he loves being around his teammates and everything, but outside of Anthony Richardson, this is kind of the next big storyline. So right now it is becoming a distraction. And it's if there's like one more thing said on Twitter, it seems like, either he's gonna have to come out and say something, or it just doesn't seem like it's done. You know what I mean? It seems like it's still bubbling and it's probably not real close to a resolution.
Jonathan Taylor is channeling his inner Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so
Yeah.
I don't get fined, especially with that body language. Well, Jake, thanks for joining us. The Colts' first preseason game's August 12th against Buffalo. Once again, Jake, have a good year, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.